So I'm not really sure what Sony is up to. They themselves are releasing spoilers for their upcoming movies, like Morbius. But we're not complaining because we're actually getting some Spider-Man news out of this. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and Sony recently on Twitter, the director of Morbius did an Ask Me Anything where he revealed some spoilers for the movie, and Sony retweeted it. Therefore, they revealed some spoilers about the movie. But again, we're not complaining because they did reveal that a new Spider-Man announcement will be coming soon. They said Spider-Man does exist in their Sony universe, and they're going to show us who he is soon. Who could this be? Well, we'll break it down in this video, and of course, if you're new, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. So we're going to go over this entire Twitter thread, but don't worry, we're not going to talk about spoilers until the latter half of the video, because we have to talk about the Morbius post-credit scene, which they actually spoiled in this thread, which is just kind of crazy to me. But director of Morbius, Daniel Espinosa, has answered some Spider-Man questions. So we're going to break those down and then talk about the post-credit, which does have to do with Spider-Man, but kind of doesn't make sense at the same time. But first things first, we talk about Spider-Man. On the Cinema Blend official Twitter account, they posted, "Attention, Spider-Man fans. We have a special Friday treat. Morbius movie director Daniel Espinosa agreed to answer every juicy questions you have about Spider-Man, Venom, Vulture, and all the Marvel Easter eggs in the upcoming movie. Are you ready?" And they literally say spoilers in the thread. And I just want to point out that the picture that they used for this is Morbius with Spider-Man in the background. And we're going to come back to this later because it's very important. Now, the thread starts out with some relatively simple questions that offer a bit of clarity about the movie and kind of the universe as a whole. In fact, the first question is, what universe does Morbius take place in which the director answered, Morbius lives in the same universe as Venom. This is the universe we saw Venom exit at the end of Venom Let There Be Carnage and return to at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. And side note / rant, they really got us with that post-credit scene for Venom Let There Be Carnage. They really made us think that Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock and Venom were going to go up against Tom Holland's Peter Parker / Spider-Man, but then they just brought him back at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home. They really played with us there. But Morbius and Venom are in the same universe, which we already knew. They literally say Venom in the Morbius trailer. But here's where things get good. The next question that was asked was, is there a Spider-Man in Venom's universe? In which Daniel Espinosa said, of course, in which the question came after was, okay, so which Spider-Man exists in Venom's universe? And with that question, they put a gif of all three Spider-Men from No Way Home, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's, and of course, Tom Holland's. In which Daniel Espinosa replied, it is my understanding that audiences will discover the answer soon. So we are going to be getting a new Spider-Man announcement relatively soon, according to the director of Morbius. Now, I say new Spider-Man because this is not going to be Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Tom Holland's Spider-Man is not going to exist both in the MCU and in the Sony picture universe of Marvel characters, whatever the heck they're calling it. He's not going to exist in both. And the post-credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home made that very clear. They took the Venom symbiote and basically took a part of it and put it in the MCU, making it very clear this is not going to be Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock. It's going to be a new Venom going up against Tom Holland's Spider-Man, making the division between the universes very clear. Plus, not to mention, Eddie Brock did not know who Spider-Man was, so it's not Tom Holland's Spider-Man in this Sony universe. So we're getting a new Spider-Man that isn't Tom Holland. And of course, the big question is, who could it be? Well, first off, here's something very interesting. I said we'd come back to that picture of Morbius with Spider-Man in the background. Apparently, this is no longer in the movie. Now, why is this not in the movie? Why is that picture of Spider-Man not in the background anymore? We're not really sure. However, one thing you should keep in mind is that Morbius finished filming like 3 years ago. A lot has happened since then in the Sony Spider-Man Universe and in the MCU. No Way Home came out. It was a massive success, bringing the other two Spider-Men back. That can change things, and I think that is what happened. The success of Spider-Man No Way Home has changed Sony's plans for Spider-Man in their universe. So whatever plan they had before, putting Spider-Man on the wall in this Morbius scene, has clearly changed because they have taken that out. But they do have plans for Spider-Man, which we'll talk about in just a bit. But again, who could the Spider-Man be? Could it actually be Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man returning? I personally think so. I think Andrew got a lot of redemption in Spider-Man No Way Home. I think fans were more than excited to see him back, and now we have a Make TASM 3 petition. And if I were Sony, I would not ignore that, especially if I needed a Spider-Man for my universe. And also, keep in mind, Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man said that he never went against an alien. He said, I want to fight an alien. So he's never seen Venom before. So bringing him back would be a perfect opportunity for him to finally go against Venom. Because although I would love if Tobey Maguire returned to play Spider-Man, one, I do think he is kind of too old now, unfortunately. Not too old to make some cameos, but too old to go through multiple Spider-Man movies again. Andrew, of course, is older now, but still could play the role. And since Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man already went up against a Venom, you can't really say that he exists in this universe with Tom Hardy's Venom because they've never met. That was made clear by the Spider-Man No Way Home post-credit scene. Eddie Brock did not know who Spider-Man was. I'm sure they could retcon it somehow, but what would make the most sense is to use Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. This way the Venom Spider-Man story could be from scratch in the Sony universe. Now, of course, there is the option that they could simply introduce a new Spider-Man. However, I think this would be a pretty bad idea. I think Andrew is definitely the best bet, but let me know what you think. Now, right now we're going to be talking about spoilers for the Morbius post-credit scenes. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you should click away now, although they do have to do with Spider-Man. So again, this was literally revealed on Twitter by the director and Sony retweeted it. But Cinema Blend asks, let's shift to Michael Keaton, who we saw in your Morbius trailers. Is he playing the same Adrian Toomes/Vulture from Spider-Man Homecoming? In which the answer was yes, and the follow-up question was, how did he get to Venom and Morbius's universe? Here's the answer. At the end of Venom Let There Be Carnage and Spider-Man No Way Home, and in No Way Home itself, it is clearly established that it is possible for characters to transfer from one multiverse to another. The events of No Way Home had the effect of transferring Venom and Vulture, and maybe others, back and forth between the MCU and the Venom universe. This doesn't really make sense, because Adrian Toomes originally started off in the MCU. Venom originally started off in the Sony universe. When the spell happened, Venom got transferred over to the MCU. When the spell got undone, he got sent back. Well, Adrian was already in the MCU, so if he did get sent out of the universe, it probably would have been to the Sony universe, but then he should have came back when the spell was undone. I shouldn't say undone, when Doctor Strange did the new spell. But again, Vulture should have come back, or he should have never actually left the MCU in the first place. So this really doesn't make sense, but it has me concerned. But moving on to the post-credits scene, which is a Vulture talking to Morbius about getting revenge on Spider-Man. The last question Cinema Blend asked was, is Vulture and Morbius setting up for a Sinister Six movie? In which Daniel Espinosa said, well, he is recruiting teammates and he has enticed one already, so it sure looks like a start. So, it looks like there is going to be a true Sinister Six Spider-Man movie, with this new Spider-Man that they should be announcing soon. Sony clearly has some pretty big plans for Spider-Man, their Spider-Man, who I do believe is going to be Andrew Garfield. So let's hope that his redemption from Spider-Man No Way Home doesn't get messed up and Sony actually has a plan with everything that they're doing right now. Morbius, Kraven the Hunter, Madam Web. Let's hope they get it right. Let me know your thoughts about all of this in the comments down below, including who you think this new Spider-Man of the Sony universe is going to be. Drop your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Marvel and MCU. For live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.